This is a poem from my book, The Reckoning. In the world I know, we push away each other, programmed to be enemies instead of sisters and brothers. In the world I know, the children stand no chance of a future worth fighting for. Either they're exploited on the internet or even placed in a cage with hundreds more. Either way, this is a moral low that we've never experienced before. The world I know, we watch our leaders lie, then in the same breath tell us to believe them or we'll die. All the while you can hear screaming mothers cry, because when they bravely fled to safety, they lost their kids with no goodbye. The world I live in, we refuse to see the beauty, like walking with glasses, lenses, color of rose, except this time the wine was poison, and when we speak, out the venom flows. We choose to keep the glasses on even when they're altering how we interpret what we see, because it's easier to follow the majority than to fact check for yourself and maybe disagree. The country that I live in would love to lock you in a cage. Don't let them catch you demanding change or asking them to stand by the untruths they've arranged. Once they get you in there, you'll be surrounded by the others that were thrown away by a broken system that will likely never recover. I want to live in a world where we make people better, notice their storm and lend them our sweater. Adding rain to the swimming pool will only make it wetter, just as speaking love into each breath can only make our world better. The world I live in, fear overpowers love. The state of our mind determines who and what will become. If we run around scared because they tell us to be, we're giving up on our dreams and our desire to be free. The world I live in, we're distracted by so much. It's easy to forget that life could change with a single touch, or from a conversation with someone with whom you haven't spoken too much. You'll notice we're all broken and meant to be each other's crutch. We hate to accept we're all connected. Then we'd have to admit our judgments are wrong. The more different they make us feel, the less likely we'll be strong. Why allow them to keep us separated based off of color, money, and social standing? Misery loves company, and you're in for a non-cushioned landing. The world I want to live in is like the one I live in now, except we all put down our differences and fix this shit somehow. Leaders need to be leaders and stop stirring up more trouble. They want us to light the fires so they can strand us in the rubble. It's not senseless to believe you can make a change by being the change you wish to see. Mother Earth is begging us to wake up. Fierceness of her power put on display for all to see. The person that you're being now is not the one you need always be. Imagine if the next step in the human evolution began through you and me. As my mind struggles to unstrain, I fear only in chaos do I ever feel sane. Karma afforded me no mercy, and the mountain challenged my every step. Exhausted, I stood with my hands in petition, praying, God, please help me through what comes next. I came to a fork in the road, and all the paths said, turn around, these roads are full of hazards. The world that we are living in will twist your mind inside out and backwards. Contrary to what it may look like, no, our government isn't just a group of bad actors. The way that you live your everyday life, they've chosen all the factors. We've stopped seeing eye to eye because we must constantly be checking backwards to protect those we love from the dangers resulting from humanity's low standards. It's not only money that is needed, we need someone who gives a shit, not in themselves and in the power they hold, but in their ability to inspire change from it. So often the wrong people are given a platform, but they won't use that foundation for good, because we live in a world that programs us to not exhibit compassion as we should. They create the escalating problems, and on any progress they stand mute. We've got to come together to give these prideful politicians the boot. At the end of the day, I can look at myself and be proud of who I am. I refuse to be a pawn in their vile worldwide plans. In the end, God will prevail, and the last will then be first. This time, it won't be our side of the battlefield questioning why we're cursed. The soul is the guide many choose to live without. To dig that deep, you have to be brave, walking your ego straight to its grave. Each season of your life demands a different you, a phoenix that's arisen from the battles we're due. We often carry mountains we're meant only to climb. It's not a race against one another, it's a race against time. Learning not to fear the evil because the shadow in the valley is mine. Each one of my demons I dismantled in due time. We only stay in the dark when we choose to conceal our own light. The smallest of stars can still shine bright, lighting up the night. The person that you were is unknown to who you now are. You can overlook the growth when focused only on the scar. Each one of us must face our fire. We need to burn to learn to heal. You either come out as gold or as ashes with no chance for an appeal. We waste our days in selfish ways instead of healing a world that is broken. We live through our phones, and that's even how most of our words are now spoken. So many people just want peace, but they won't let us try it. When the system clearly doesn't work, that's when we must defy it. Nothing good comes when we care more about our differences than what makes us equal. We were supposed to learn from Hitler. There need not be a sequel. Saving ourselves is our own duty. There will be no help from the rich and snooty. It's time to wake up now, America, the sleeping beauty. You can bandage up a scrape, but what if it's way deeper? A cast will help a broken bone, but you may still wind up weaker. What do you do when the pain is deeper? A pain that won't stop when you close your eyes. A pain that you hide from others wearing a daily disguise. Not a mask to be fake, just one so they can't see the brokenness glowing from inside of me. They can restart your heart if you have an attack, but nothing's attacked, it's like a piece of me lacks. Like I know a soul is in there, but I am sure that it's not whole. This pain is like lightning which I cannot control. It's an ache that won't stop aching, an eerily silent calm, a drama in the making if only I'd let it play out. Either you're like us or you don't get it. There's a war inside our minds, one that doesn't move on when you've left broken fragments behind. We pick up fragments that others have had. Perhaps they left them there for us or something like that. We use all these pieces to build up a wall. We don't realize we're locking ourselves in at all. Like quicksand, our problems go from bad to worse. Some of us bounce forward, some fly in reverse. There are examples everywhere of how we're supposed to be. Bees pollinate flowers with love, yet fend off humans defensively. We will reap all that we've sown and pay the cost expensively. Because who are we to decide who belongs and who does not? We leave people in places worse off than we found them, then claim peace and equality is sought. Love is the only treasure that cannot be sold or bought, yet we throw away each other often without second thought. In the beginning there was life and nature, and since then we've never needed more. We were supposed to build with each other, not construct walls that lead to war. Does anyone really still comprehend what all of this fighting is even for? I would like to thank everyone who is reading this today to learn how identity is just a costume and all the world's a stage. This would lead to reason that inside we're all the same. Yet if we keep fearing our differences, things are never going to change. We can no longer ignore the injustices and the racism on the screen. Honestly, in 2023, our children shouldn't know what racism even means. It should be so far past discussion, so far out of sight. If the whole world was colorblind, we could finally see things right. People filling their hearts with so much hate that there's not much room for anything more. You don't need to have a gun to be on their side of the war. Verbally, we're abusing each other, creating a world that our children shouldn't even hear. It shouldn't be one another that we deeply fear. I'll just leave this here.